Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of musical and visual elements of mostly songs, sometimes other things, and today I'm going to be looking at a variety of shorts by VoicePlay. This is something I've been holding off on doing for a while just because it's a little imposing, to be honest, and I hadn't really engaged with shorts much on YouTube anyway. But it's been kind of niggling at the back of my mind that I really wanted to do some of these because I'm a patron and I see cool stuff coming up on the Patreon that I'm not watching because obviously I want to save things for this. So there's a bunch of songs out there that I thought looked awesome and I really wanted to hear them. So this is what we've come to. I'm going to do a whole bunch of them today. How many? I don't know at this point. We'll find out. I'll put the final number up here. It's probably in the title of this video as well. I don't know. We'll see what I do when I get there. But that's what I'm doing. So I don't really have a lot to say at this point. Because I don't know what well, I know what songs I'm going to listen to, but I'm not going to give tons of information about each one, or this video will be excruciatingly long for you folks. So I'm just going to, maybe a couple of tidbits here and there, but I'm just going to jump in and see what's what. So welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, hit the like button for this video if you enjoy it. Hit the subscribe button to see more from my channel. Please do hit the notification bell, decide if you want to be notified by YouTube. And if you would care to donate to support the channel, you can do so in 3 different ways. You can sign up at patreon.com/DavidKReacts, as I have mentioned. That's got a $2 a month sign up. Just basically, it's a long-term way of supporting my channel, but it does give you access to my Discord as well. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts and give a one-off donation there. Or you can give me a super thanks on YouTube. It's that little, the dollar sign with the heart around it just below this video. If you would like to do so. Any of those greatly appreciated, but absolutely no pressure whatsoever. That's kind of it, which is a little weird. I guess I should introduce the video in the sense that what I normally do is not what's going to happen here. So if this is the first video on my channel you're seeing, you're getting a slightly odd approach. What I would normally do is watch a video through from beginning to end, and then go back to the beginning and watch it again, sort of taking it apart and seeing what cool visual and audio elements I could pull out based on what I've just seen and heard and the foreknowledge of having seen it once before. This is going to be slightly different because YouTube Shorts have less control. They just play through. It's harder to stop and start them. Well, you can stop and start them, but it's not as easy to go back a step. Also, I feel like, and a couple of friends in the VoicePlay community have said to me, there's not going to be as much to dissect as I normally do. There aren't crazy visual elements in many of these, apparently in a few. And of course, there isn't as much post-processing going into it either, although I'm sure there's a little. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with this video. I will probably do the same thing, watch it through and then watch it through again, but it might be a little bit less detailed than my normal work. But yeah. That's about all I have to say, so without any further delay, I'm going to jump in, and I will cut to the beginning of each video, because it is almost impossible to pause a short before it starts playing. Unless I'm missing, if I've missed a huge trick with control over YouTube Shorts, please let me know, but I don't think there is a way of doing that. So I'm just going to, I'm starting on the short below, and I'm just going to skip back up, and I will cut the video in at the appropriate point. That I think is everything. So here we go. My first short is going to be This Wish from the Disney film Wish, which came out recently. I was fortunate enough to go to a Canadian special screening of this that happened about a week before it came out in cinemas. There's a friend of mine who got 2 tickets to go and brought me along, and I really enjoyed it. Is it the top of the Disney canon? No, but it's certainly a very good movie, and I thought there was some fantastic music in it, and this is a very good example. This song, written by Julia Michaels and Benjamin Rice, with some additional songwriting by J.P. Sachs, and this is, one of the big, I guess, the title song of the show, although the movie, I should say, called This Wish rather than just Wish, but I think this is the one that would sort of take that place. Yeah, let's jump in and see what we have coming our way. Okay, got everything lined up. This one features Adriana Arellano, who, of course, I heard recently, and I'm very excited to see what she brings to it. I heard her in the Jingle Bell Rock video at Christmas, and this will be my second time hearing her sing with the group, although I know she's done stuff before. And yeah, I will be back once I've got this queued up properly.
So I look up at the stars to guide me, and throw caution to every warning sign. I'm sure there will be challenges that find me.
Oh, I love how that came together.
Take 'em on one at a time. So I make this wish.
Oh, that's beautiful.
More for us than this. So I make this wish to have something more for us.
Oh, stop! Oh, nice. I love they've kind of held true to the vibe of the song. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so I didn't know, beginning this video, that YouTube cuts shorts to a minute. I think the people who, the majority of the people at least who I follow on YouTube, I've seen like 3 or 4 shorts here and there, have deliberately made them to be shorts and so have kept them under a minute. So, after speaking with a couple of the folks in the community, what I've decided to do instead is I'm going to watch on Instagram. I know there are a couple of ways of doing this. I believe Mortius has watched these videos on Facebook, but This Wish, for example, did not appear to be on Facebook. And so I decided I'm going to go with Instagram. I was already expecting not to be able to rewind much. What I might just do is cut back in if there's something I really want to do later, but otherwise I'm going to watch it in exactly the same way I just described. So my apologies for that. It does also mean I haven't quite heard the end of this yet, because you saw where that cut off, so I will come back and listen to that when I get to it in this rewatch. But let's go back and watch this. I love that they got Starter Glow. That's an awesome, I guess, is it a nightlight or something? It's awesome. There's some really cool Wish merchandise out already. But yeah, let's go back and have another listen.
So I look up at the stars to guide me.
Side note, you'll see my mouse coming on screen because I can't control Instagram with the spacebar. I really like that they just start with only Adriana. It kind of fits really well with the way that they sing the song in the movie as well. There's that sense of the solitude that Usher is experiencing at parts of this. Wishes and dreams, if you haven't seen the movie, are really important in this film. When you make your wish, it's something that you do when you come of age, and you make a wish, and the king takes it in sort of a corporeal form, which is like a blue globe that you can look into and see the wish. He takes it and stashes it away for safekeeping, and that's all I'll say about the plot. But it's a very significant thing to be making the official wish. You only get one of them. And every year, one person's wish gets granted. So there's something... It sort of, to me, highlights the import of the subject matter, starting out with just the one person. It is the sincerity of the moment, and Adriana just nails it with this. It's such a gorgeous start.
And throw caution to every warning sign.
I mean, that harmony! Wow! That's such a good way to immediately bring harmony in. The 3 of them singing together, what a stunning combination. And it's just so raw like that. It's beautiful, and I love that you just get this from Lane. Very gentle, and just the beginning of a bass note from Jeff coming in at that point as they come in behind. But, this is such a powerful opening, and it's so effective for this song.
I'm sure there will be challenges that find me, but I take them on one at a time.
I love the hey, yeah. It's so nice. You've got this kind of otherwise fairly unconsonant harmony going on there, and just that moment of the hi, yeah, having the interjections there and having a little bit of variety into what's coming in the background is so effective, and it works beautifully with the vocals sailing over the top. This is extraordinary. It's such a well arranged piece of music here. Great job, guys.
So I make this wish.
Oh, that bass line, the I'm no idea what notes Jeff's singing, and obviously I can't go back in Instagram. But that bass line is just extraordinary. Just the motion that Jeff gets in there. And yet, because he's got it on this kind of... It's almost like a combination of a tight ooh and an there. It's sort of so in the background, and it's just giving a little bit of momentum to the piece. And just keeping that, because it's on every note of the bar there. We're sort of in a 6/8 at this point. And just having that dum 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 dum, where he's hitting every single one of those beats. It's just so effective, and it kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit, but it's really, really good in the moment. And then he drops out, and you just have the wish. Again, so effective how they're playing with range here. You get a little bit down below, then you get a little bit up above, and all the while over the top of it, you have this angelic vocal from Adriana. This is great.
So I make this wish to have something more for us than this.
Great stuff there. I love that we get that hanging chord at the end of the first sort of the fake out ending, and then we go back, repeat the line, and settle in on the tonic at the end of it. It kind of just gives it, you know, you can hear from that chord there's something else coming, and giving us that sort of double ending of that line of that chorus, going into then the hyped up drum beat that we've got going on here. We pick up the energy at this point in the song. It's a classic move, but it's very, very effective. And I love the little star. It's so cute. And that's so good. We come in with this non-verbal, like just vocal sounds, vocalizing stuff, and then you get the hey, yeah, 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 as a group, reiterating what we just had, but doing it as the focus this time, rather than as a harmony for the melody. So effective. And then you have the guys singing while Adriana takes a pause and then vocalizes over the top of them. The amount that they're kind of flexing in this, as a first short that I've seen of theirs, this is a really strong start as far as I could tell. I expected nothing less from them, but this is so effective. Oh, and that lovely bass note there from Jeff. It's so... it's exactly where it needs to be, I think. And it's not drawing too much attention to itself. Although he is down there, it's not like he's got it in a big, wide open and it's really kind of making it a focal point. It's happening, but it's happening with a little more subtlety, and it's so effective down there, I think. Oh, and that's really... I love that drop out there. And I really actually like the... drum sounds that Lane has gone for with his vocal percussion there. It's actually really effective, having that very wide sound, kind of a bit more of a splash cymbal than a crash almost in the sound that he's gone for there. Splash cymbal, I'm not sure I can give a good definition, I'm not a drummer, but they tend to be a little smaller, a slightly different shape, and they kind of give more of a kind of bash, rather than, I don't even know how to describe it. If you are making the drum sound, it's almost like there's a bit of an in it, if that makes any sense at all. I really don't know how to describe that well. But it's a brasher sound than a crash. Like a crash is just like the hit, and you kind of get that high-pitched metallic sound. A splash has a little bit more... it's a slightly wetter sound, if that makes any sense. I really, really don't know how to describe that. Drummers, sound off in the comments if you want to jump in and give a better description than I... Maybe I'm even wrong. Maybe it's not a splash, but I think it is. Very effective, and then dropping back down to this quieter tone, slowing down, and of course this is roughly where it cut off. So they are so good at this dum 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 dum. These broken chord arpeggios that we've got going on here in the background. These are a little less arpeggio. There's a little bit more flow kind of to it than just going straight up and down a chord. But it's so effective at pulling something back. And the way that they've just slipped it in here at the end is perfect.
To have something more for us than this.
Oh, and everyone dropping out at the ending. Ah, that's so good. Again, ending with that sincerity. We start with the emotion and the sincerity of making the wish. And as the wish is being made, as the character Adriana is playing here, Adriana, is getting more emotional about it, in come the guys, and then right at the end there, that moment of sincerity as they drop back out again. That is perfect. Oh, I love it. That is so good. That is really good. I think because of the nature of how I'm watching these, I'm going to go through this, and I'll do this for all of them. I'm going to go through it once more, and I will just stop if there's something specific I want to comment on, and I will cut to that point. So there might be a couple of odd jump cuts here, or I might have said everything I feel like I need to. This is just sort of how I'm going to have to do these shorts to make them work. But I'd want to make sure I don't miss out something if there's something cool I want to comment on. Oh, I was focusing so much on Jeff's bass line, I missed that woo, woo. The little catch breath that Ellie and Caesar are putting in at that point is a really cool thing to do to kind of punctuate the harmony line a little bit. That's really effective. Oh, that lovely This Wish! I love, again, you've got this, I'm so impressed when groups do this, where you have these really cool runs that are so beautifully in time, being sung by more than one person at once. That's not easy to do, and they do such a good job of it. I really like as well how you just get right at the end there that... I'm not sure what the note was, but you just get that last drop-down note from Jeff. Because what's so great is it implies there's going to be a resolution, like a harmonic resolution, and there isn't. I mean, there is, because we know it's in a major key, and so the simple fact that the final note is the tonic, in our minds, it automatically resolves to a major triad. That's just kind of the logical progression there. But we don't actually hear it. They drop out and leave that open. Oh, that's beautiful. Great job with this one. It's such a beautiful song. If you haven't seen Wish, I do recommend it. There's a couple of bits that sort of slightly reminded me of... this is the Disney 100 film, right? This is the film that they released as a celebration of the fact that they've been around for 100 years. I get that. There were a couple of bits where I felt like there were references that almost weren't meant to be references. I'm not 100% sure how to say it. There were a couple of bits of music where it sounded a bit too much to me like they were trying to be something else, I think. And then there was some, there were in-jokes and Easter eggs and callbacks to previous movies by the gallon. And I don't know how, but they made them work. And I was so impressed by that. The way they slotted in all these little gags all over the place. And some of them slap you around the face. And there's a couple that are there from the beginning that you don't think about until the end. And there's a couple that are really subtle. And somebody had to point one of them out to me. And I pointed one out to a friend. And it's really cool how much they put in. They use When You Wish Upon a Star in the movie. And it's gorgeous. It's I genuinely enjoy it. I recommend it. But this song, I really do love. I've been humming it on and off since I saw it, and it's lovely to hear the guys and Adriana do this. They did a wonderful job. All right, what's up next? Okay, next up we have the Thanksgiving song from Bob's Burgers. I've no idea why this one, it caught my eye, and I haven't seen anything with Rachel for a little while, so it seemed like it would be a good one to watch. So this is the Thanksgiving song featuring Rachel Potter.
But I've got past the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Ooh, the turkey looks great. But
no.
thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there. Thank you for loving me. Everyone's thinking.
The interactions between Rachel and Jeff are so good.
Please.
For thanking you. Kill the turkey.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, that's a real short. That's fantastic, though. It's such a cute little song, and the way that Rachel plays Linda is so good, and I love how deadpan Jeff is playing Bob. That's priceless. I love the get-up. Like, the character representation. Caesar is Tina, Lane is Louise, Ellie is Jean. I love what they've done with this. But the stars of this show are Rachel and Jeff. They are so good. let's go through this. First off, because it's half interrupted, I love just the opening with this on the wide you get a flood of noise straight away, total contrast to what we just saw. This is fantastic. And you get the ba-da-da as well. It's kind of like it's almost like a fanfare at the beginning of the piece, which I think it's a great way to start this. I love the opening on just an ba-da-da. You don't get the consonant punctuation until the little ba-da-da at the end.
The cranberry sauce, we're having mashed potatoes.
The way Jeff is just flitting into bum 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 Lynn. The flip between bass singer and actual character Bob speaking at that point is so good, and I love how concerned he's looking as well. This is priceless. This banter between the two of them.
Ooh, the turkey looks great.
Oh, no.
Thank you for loving me.
Stop.
Thank you for being there.
This is so great. I love how we're getting these little echoes coming in from Caesar and Ellie, and Jeff is so much a part of it until he becomes Bob, says a word, drops straight back in again. And obviously he's carrying the kind of deadpan look through the whole thing. But it's just so great having him drop in and out. It would have been easy to do that as an overlay and actually have a second Jeff speaking at various points, but it's the fact that it's being included as a part of the music is priceless.
Thank you for loving me, and everyone's thanking. The whole world's thanking us,
Please.
for thanking you.
It's so... I think what's so great about this is it's just so jolly. And this is the nature of the show. Bob's Burgers is fantastic if you haven't seen it. It's literally about this family that live and work in a hamburger shop, and it's just a brilliant cartoon. Some of the humor in it is amazing. I think there's good chunks of some, as with any comedy, some of it is not going to stand the test of time, but I think there's a good part of it that will. And there's just something. Some moments are wholesome, some moments are 100% irreverent. And somehow they've kind of captured that balance in this surprisingly well. And sort of the general chaos of everything. The expressions right now. So good.
Kill the turkey.
The wide-eye. That's so good. I'm just going to do this whole thing again, because I spent the whole thing watching the two of them. But the wide-eyed sort of crazy eyes that Rachel's got going on now are fantastic. Jeff's just given up. Which I think is probably the correct response. Yeah, this is great. Oh, I love Lane play. I love what Lane does anyway when he's performing. He's a very visual performer, but the fact that he's doing but it's also there's a little Louise in, if you don't know the show, is full of schemes and plans and all that sort of stuff, and so having her almost doing like an excellent she's got a Mr. Burns chaos about her. I love that the intro role is represented by this. There's something cute about that.
The cranberry sauce, we're having mashed potatoes. Ooh, the turkey looks great.
Oh, no.
And I love how much they're playing into, like, Ellie's rubbing his stomach, like, Caesar's just getting really excited down the bottom. The way they're playing these characters in, it's very, very clear that there's support here for the actual interaction that's going on. I mean, Rachel's the star of this particular one, of course, but then the interaction with Jeff and the three guys, they are doing such a great job of being these absolute legends in the background with some of these reactions. It's so subtle, but it's because they're doing subtle things that they kind of blend into this so well. It's brilliant.
Thank you for loving me.
Stop.
Thank you for being there. Thank you for loving me. And everyone's thanking. The whole...
And they're doing small things that the characters do. It's subtle, but they are in character the whole time, even while they're not drawing. This is the thing. I literally watched almost the whole time the second time through, once I knew what was going on. The first analysis watch, I spent almost the whole thing watching Rachel, because you can. They're not distracting in any way. It's brilliant. This kind of balance, having the two videos split down the middle. And actually, one of the things I enjoy about this too is you've got the sort of empty black background behind them, not only is Rachel in a kitchen, which is very appropriate to the song, but her kitchen is white. And so you have this huge contrast between the two videos as well. I'm guessing they planned that.
The world's thanking us
Please.
for thanking you. Kill the turkey.
I'm really impressed, actually, by how much Rachel is swapping between these props. She has a plate, she has a spoon, she has a knife, and you don't get the sense... She's obviously placed things around her very well in her performance space, because you don't get the sense that she's looking for any of them. Her hand goes off screen, and it comes back on screen with another implement. It's actually really, really well done. And her focus throughout this is great. And just the little... at the end, I can't get it that cleanly. But the little pop, along with the bop, just to end that thing off. Really, really nicely done. It's a cute little song that just... I love the way they've represented this. It's brilliant. These shorts are a riot. I'm really impressed with these. All right, what's next? Okay, next up, I'm Too Sexy. As soon as I knew they did this song, honestly, was probably one of the biggest catalysts for me wanting to do a short video, because it's just such a good song, and I really want to see what the guys do with it. This song, of course, by Right Said Fred. It's a group that was formed in the late 80s, I think, in the UK. For those who don't know, they got the name for the band, Right Said Fred, from a song by Bernard Cribbins, who was a UK musician and occasional actor. I think he appeared in an episode of Doctor Who, unless I'm much mistaken. I remember one of my friends telling me that. Sadly, we lost him almost 2 years ago at this point, or I guess a year and a half. But he had a song that went, "Right said Fred, both of us together, one each end, and careful as we go," or something like that. I don't remember it precisely. And it had a little animated or stop motion claymation video of guys moving a piano or something. I don't remember it that well. I probably should have looked at it before I started doing this, but yeah. But that's where the band name came from, and they are very clearly best known for "I'm Too Sexy." And I can't figure out how the guys are going to do this, and obviously it's going to start with Jeff. It's got to start with Jeff. I don't see how else it would go. So we'll see what we see. Anyway, this is Right Said Fred's "I'm Too Sexy" featuring Omar Cardona.
I'm too sexy for
Yep.
my love.
Poppy!
Too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me. But I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. I'm too sexy
This is
for
so
Milan.
good.
Too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan. But I'm too sexy for your party. Too sexy for your party.
Oh, I love the high harmony.
I'm a model, you know what I mean, and I do my little turn on the catwalk.
This is amazing.
On the catwalk.
Oh, yes.
I do my little turn on the catwalk. Ooh.
Well played. That was phenomenal. Also, that is an extraordinarily well-behaved dog. I love this glitter vest that Jeff has going on here. That's phenomenal. That's great. I love how they started off actually very legit to the song and then broke out more and more into doing their own thing as they went through it. That's really cool. It's a great choice. But kind of like In the Air Tonight, you have to hit that and off. Like, that's kind of iconic to this song. Nowhere near as iconic as the In the Air Tonight drum fill, but I love that they stuck to it. That's great. What a great... Yeah, honestly, this kind of went mostly the way I imagined it to, and I'm not mad about it. This is great.
I'm too sexy for my love. Too sexy for my love.
I love how straight he delivers that "I'm too sexy for my love." There's no... I think that's kind of in line with how Richard... What's his surname? Fairbrass? I think it's Richard Fairbrass, who's the... it's two brothers, Richard and Fred? No. It's Right Said Fred. Richard and... Can't remember his name. I'll ping it up here somewhere. Fairbrass, who were the two guys who formed Right Said Fred. Kind of following his intonation with this. But just the way he landed on love. It was almost like that was the end of a sentence. I'm too sexy for my love. The way they end the song almost. It could have been that, but with the very beginning of it. Great choice.
Love's going to leave me.
Oh, even the creak too. Leave me. The creak in the voice as he goes up there. This is great because that's what Richard does more or less. Slightly different there, but more or less the similar sort of changes in the voice. To be fair, I haven't listened to the song for a while, but this one's kind of drilled into my mind because it came out in 92, 91, something like that, and was still occasionally playing on the radio when I left the UK, 23 years later. So it kind of sticks in your mind a little bit. But no, this is great. I love the outfits in this. Lane in the zebra t-shirt with the swept back hair. It's like, for a split second, my brain did. I know he does cool things with his hair and all that sort of thing, but my brain didn't recognize him for a split second when he came on at first, just because it's such a different look. I love Caesar's shirt. And what's going on with Ellie with all these the what do you call them? Not tassels. What's the word? I don't know. Like the strings that are hanging down from the shirt. It's just great. Can't see so much what Omar's wearing, but the costuming in this is superb.
Too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy.
You see Lane pull down his shirt at that point. They are more or less sticking to what the song does at this point. And actually, I think that's a really good decision because it's so familiar. It's good to set up that point before you start breaking away from it. I love the sparkly Band-Aid too. That's so good. Yep, there it is. And back to it. This is hilarious. This is also obviously a bit of a vehicle for Jeff up to this point. I love what the guys are doing, but besides Lane with the percussion, because obviously that always stands out a little bit, they're keeping mostly as a support for Jeff right now so that they can come into their own in a moment. And that's also a great decision, I think.
Too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan. New York and Japan.
I love that because we've just had this do 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 do, and as we get a little bit of a change, there's a bit more tone coming into what Jeff's doing here, and so we open up the harmony, whoa, whatever the notes are, but it opens up into a wider sound and kind of welcomes in that slight shift in Jeff's tone as well.
Too sexy for your party. Too sexy for your party. No way.
That's so good. I'm too sexy for you. Just the way they drew that out underneath, really, really effective. And of course, I'm too sexy for is the first 4 words or whatever it is of almost every line of this song. And so they can do that, and it doesn't matter what you put it under, it's going to work. It's really cool. I love that we have the high harmony before we go into this section too. You get those high notes, everything's lifted a little bit, and then we settle back in at the new pace, or the new sort of sound that we've got going on here.
You know what I mean, and I do my little turn on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk, on the catwalk. Ooh,
You've got Ellie going on with the melody here, and I love how much everyone is just vibing around this one. I mean, you can't really not. This is one of those songs that just makes you want to move. But the way that they've just kind of got there's a kind of like a... It wouldn't, if obviously this is being filmed with tripod and all that sort of thing, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of motion in this one, and it'd be almost like they were walking down the street. Like, that's the pace it's giving me and the vibe it's giving me. There's a little bit of a kind of want to move motion about it, and it's actually conveyed really well on a static camera. I'm really impressed by that. And the turn from Caesar.
I'm too sexy for...
I'm going to do what I did before and just go through this again because there's too many things here I want to catch.
For my love. Too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me.
A nice choice, too, to have Jeff closer up, and then he makes room for Ellie and Omar to come in front of him. That's actually a really smart move.
But I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
see Caesar playing with his shirt too in the background. This is great. They are so good at doing so much in the background. Just like I said with the previous video, they can do so much and make it, it takes ages to catch it all, because they're also quite good at not hogging the screen away from whoever's in the limelight at that point in time.
And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
And actually, they held that whole first section together really, really nicely. Lane's drum rhythm that he had going there, the groove he was in, was fantastic. And just, there was a really nice balance of the harmony against Jeff, and I really like that.
I do my little turn on the catwalk. Ooh.
I love swagger up and then drift off. I like that you get that and you get that little lead up to that final note with Jeff, because he sits down on the fifth right before it. So it's you kind of know that something's coming. It's a logical build to it, and it's a really clean finish, and it permits that low note to just not feel out of place, even though it's standing alone. This is really good. Also, that puppy is so cute. We're in the process of trying to decide if Timmy would like a puppy friend. We're thinking maybe a corgi. But I'm a huge dog person as much as I am. I'm one of those people who exists and proves that dog people and cat people can be the same person sometimes. I love dogs. But also Timmy, who I think will not be gracing us today. He's tired today because he woke up very early this morning, and de facto woke me up very early this morning. But yeah, this is great. That's actually a really good song for them, and I love what they did with it. Next up. Yes. Of course, having done this Wish, and the song being in Wish, I saw that they'd done a Barbershop tag of When You Wish Upon a Star, which I wanted to look at for two reasons. One, Barbershop, and two is kind of like a tandem thing of I love this song and it seems relevant to being part of Wish as well. And this just sounds like it could be phenomenal. And I'd love to hear what VoicePlay does with a Barbershop tag, because they've had some Barbershop-y moments, but to hear a full-on tag from them I think will be really, really cool. When You Wish Upon a Star, of course, hugely successful song written for Pinocchio. It was the composed by Lee Harline and lyrics by Ned Washington. And it won the score for Pinocchio, won Best Original Score at the Oscars, and this won Best Original Song. And it's just fantastic. Random VoicePlay adjacent fact, by the way, just because one of Jeff's inspirations I know, Monstro the Whale is, of course, voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft. I made a thing of studying what he'd done because I just loved his voice so much. And yeah, that's one of the things I discovered. Haven't seen Pinocchio for years, but this song is incredible. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Studio, which is another 100th celebration thing that Disney did, grab a box of tissues and watch it. It's on Disney Plus, and it's just this beautiful recognition. I believe characters from every single Disney animated film, bar 2 or 3, feature in this thing in their original style. So, you have like Peter Pan flying by in full cartoon mode and Elsa walking past fully CG. Like, it's extraordinary. Highly recommend. But it features this song as well. I'm not trying to advertise Disney too much, but I just that short is amazing. I might do something on it on here at some point, at the possible risk of getting all the copyright strikes. Anyway, this is VoicePlay's tag of When You Wish Upon a Star.
Oh, when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Oh.
When you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who.
Oh, this is cool.
So find your dream and be a star.
Caesar fainting at the end. That's a really cool tag. So, Barbershop tags the end of a song And barbershop quartets will often sing them as a standalone thing, because apart from anything else, they're often very impressive. Check out my TikTok. You'll see me duetting. There's a guy who... can't think of his name right now. I'll ping it up here. But he does barbershop tags. He sings all 4 parts himself, but then he posts the videos with a part missing, and you duet that part back in again. And I did that for a couple of videos there. Link is in the description, incidentally, for my TikTok. But this will be sung as an individual thing like this. But what's really cool about this one, and you don't hear so much, you often hear the last line repeated. So when you wish upon a star, being repeated during it is something I would potentially expect. But the fact they went off and then included a lot of the verse in that as well, or the chorus rather, that was really, really cool and unexpected, and I love the direction they took this in.
When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
I love that they have this beautiful, this fairly conventional harmony, and then on that come true, and on true they shift up. Now we know, this is true tag territory, where it's like, we're not going to resolve, we're going to go somewhere slightly different and do a bunch more stuff into the final resolution. And that choice to go into that new key and start singing When You Wish in the new key was brilliant. That blindsided me in a way I wasn't entirely expecting, and I really like what they did with that. And then there's so many sort of slight red herrings here, because it sounds like they're going to do one thing. Like, I thought it was going to be upon a star, and then you hit the long note and do all the motion underneath it, but they go somewhere different again. And I love the choice to hang on upon. One, it's a gorgeous chord anyway, but it's just a lovely moment to hang, because that is the precise moment to hang to catch people out, and they did a great job with this. And they're just doing such a great job. Again, they give the line, and then that and they give it that little bit of pulling at the heartstrings, They get that little, they just turn up the energy a fraction before they come back in on the next line. Lovely stuff. Great barbershop technique going on here, to my ear anyway. And I think it's exciting hearing them sing like this, because this is so close to what they do anyway, but it is a different style, and I think they're doing a great job. I love how long they held the final star as well before there's that shift of Jeff dropping down the octave that kind of wraps it up. Because it's one of those things where it could go a couple of ways, because what you could also do is have the 2 inner parts, so Ellie and, or I guess they're not inner parts technically, but the 2 non-bass and non-high held note parts shift around a little bit underneath it. There could be 2 or 3 chords there. They went the different route of just holding on that one note and then finally having that resolution from Jeff. And it could have been a resolution from all 3 of them and just had Caesar carrying on. But the fact that it's just Jeff dropping down the octave at that point is also quite effective. And the gag of Caesar passing out is just fantastic. There's literally like a what? I don't know. Was he meant to do that? Because it does actually slightly look like he caught Jeff off guard there. I feel like that was planned, but very well played on Jeff's part if that was deliberate, because he did make it look like it was surprising to him.
Come true when you wish upon.
I love that Caesar's starting to look alarmed here, and this is the short note. They play it off really well, like he doesn't know it's going to go on this long. It's great. So the lovely thing about this too, and it's one of the great things that this sort of conceit at the end of a piece of barbershop works, because you have one person hanging on, and it's usually someone up high, you open up the ability for everybody underneath to be involved in the harmony. So it's enabling Jeff to sing a lot more harmonically than he often does. He's not just holding down a bass line at this point. Is he the bass line? Yes. But he's the bass line of a bunch of moving chords, and so his part is a lot more varied than it could be, because that's really what gets opened up by this option. And I love that he's getting so much. It's great hearing that bass line moving around, supporting what Lane and Ellie are doing. Can we also say how awesome it is to hear Lane really getting a singing thing here? Again, that's something that you don't get so much with VoicePlay, because obviously he's usually doing vocal percussion, and he's got such a great voice, and I love the blend of these four is fantastic. Even there, a star. You know, obviously you've got Ellie way up in the rafters, but I love, it's great. You've got this very wide separation. They've done it very well. Ellie up in the rafters, Lane up quite high, Jeff in the middle of his range about to drop down again, and then Caesar just holding this note on. That's so good. I'm curious to know, I'm not going to play this through, but I am curious to know how long Caesar holds that on for. I'm not sure exactly, but that's a little over 20, I think 21 seconds that he holds it on for there. That's really impressive. Good job, Caesar. And I think this is so great because it is out of their style. The fact that he's committed to this note and is bloomin' well gonna hold it on, but everything's kind of just carrying on around him, and he's like, oh god, we're still going. That's really, really funny. They played that very, very well. Fantastic job, guys. Yeah, what's next? Okay, next up we have Puttin' on the Ritz. This is a song by Irving Berlin, written in 1927. First heard, I believe, as part of the movie of the same name, which I think was 1930. That was one I had and watched a long time ago. And it's a thoroughly all-round enjoyable song. It refers to the sort of expression to put on the Ritz, meaning to, glam up and look all fancy. The term inspired by the Ritz Hotel in London. And it's a great song, so I'm really excited to see what VoicePlay does with this one. So here we go.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Oh, I love the pace.
Putting on the Ritz, different types of everyday go pants with stripes and cutaway go perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz, on the dress.
This Janon's killing this.
Oh!
Super duper.
Come to Ritz, where Rockefellers walk with sticks and umbrellas in their midst. Da 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 da. Putting on the Ritz.
That's so much fun. They did a great job with that. The speed they're taking that at as well. It's a pacey song, but that's fast. That's really, really impressive, and I think they've really done a great job with Janon's enunciation through that. You can really clearly hear what he's saying. Very, very, very impressed. That's great. So we start off with Jeff with a little bump, 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 just little bass lead in. It's a really nice way to do that. It makes total sense for this song. It's very, very much kind of what would have been of the day. And I think they've actually done a really good job. I love how much Caesar in particular has dressed up for the moment. This looks fantastic. Also, is Ellie wearing the shirt that I just saw Lane wearing in I'm Too Sexy? Because it looks like it. It might not be, but it does look like it. Also, I love Lane starting crouched down. I'm not sure I get it, but it's hilarious.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz.
I love, again, we're getting Lane singing in this one, which is really nice. Janon's just coming through so clear here. Really, really nicely done. I love the go do, 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 do that we've got in the harmony, and then they come in on fashion sits. Really nice and very logical place to actually switch into lyrics, and I think they did it's a lovely arrangement, the way that they've put that together. This is it's a really tight mix. I think this is tighter than the other shorts that we've heard so far. In terms of the sounds like it's closer together, if that makes any sense. I don't know if they've panned it a little less than usual, or if it's just the 5 voices sound particularly close. I can't quite identify it, but it's a very, very tight mix for this one, and it sounds really good.
Different types of everyday go pants with stripes and cutaway go perfect fit. Putting on the
I love that there's perfect fits. Little small things there that wouldn't have been in the day. That's a very contemporary sound, and I love that they have this. It's just a little thing, but it just breaks it a little into their own really, really nice sort of. We're making this voice play territory.
dressed up like $1 million trooper.
Oh, the chords there are fantastic. I also love that the way Jeff comes in on the boom at the bottom. You can hear that there's a sort of a tiny little bit of growly quality to it as well, which together with Lane pulling back and giving us this halftime drum thing, it kind of gives it a little bit of a techno vibe almost. It's not full, like we know VoicePlay can go pretty hard on that kind of thing. They're not going that hard on it, but it's just there, and it's giving it a little bit of a drop beat feel. And I really, really like the way that they've kind of done that with this. It's actually very, very effective. And then I love that second chord. They do boom, 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 or whatever it was they go down to at that point. It's really, really nice for Super Trooper.
Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Oh,
Super duper.
come let's mix with rock.
And again, Lane's work here, so good. The way he cuts out just to let Jeff have that second and then cuts back in again to lead back in. Really, really effective.
Fellas walk with sticks and umbrellas in their midst.
There's so much I'm going to have to come back to it, but I love that we go so cleanly into that da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Really, really cool. This arrangement is fantastic, and they've done a really, really good job with this.
Dressed up like $1 million trooper.
I love that true. The fact that they slide up for the harmony, it's actually really, really effective at that point. That's a really cool trick. And again, very, very clean. Like I said, with runs and slides and things like that, they're always so precise.
Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Oh,
Super duper.
come let's mix with Rockefellers, walk with sticks and umbrellas.
When they get to that Come Let's Mix Where Rockefellers Walk, the blend of harmony here between the three of them is phenomenal. I feel like VoicePlay is exceptionally good at choosing their guests. Janon is a great choice for this, but they also pick guests where any combination of voices, including that guest, is going to sound good. They're really, really good at that, and that little trio right there, I mean, they always sound good, but it was particularly good for this song, I think. And I love that when it gets to In Their Midst, and we break off to have that In Their Midst, which kind of harks back to what was happening before, but now it's Ellie holding the note on. I love that we just had that subtle shift to somebody else so cleanly, because it literally is just somebody different taking over the long-held note. Really smart. I love too, there's a great thing in jazz where you have that 3 endings in a row, but you play it once, and then you play it again but quieter, and then you play it again really loud to finish off the song. It's not quite what they've done, but what they did do was note Jeff goes up the octave at that point, and just does a boom, 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 and goes back down again. And by bringing him up, you've actually achieved a similar effect, because the breadth of the song has constricted a little bit, and so it feels like it's a little tighter. That's really smart. I'm just going to go one more time through in case there's something I missed. I really like the choice to have Jeff do the putting on the Ritz at that point in time, because it gives everybody space to then come in on the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Really, really effective there. That was actually a really smart piece of arrangement at that point. Plus, it's just cool having Jeff do the little rundown there. But the amount of license it gives the guys to then do something slightly different is fantastic. And I love just that as in the ending. You get the from Lane, and then putting on the Ritz, which he does actually sing. That's nice too. So the final percussion is just before the end of the song almost, and you just get the percussive d at the beginning of dum to finish the song off. Really good work. Love it. What's next? Okay, as soon as I knew I tell a lie earlier. The song that really made me want to do shorts was the moment I knew they'd done Mahna Mahna. I mean, how could you not, really? It's a fantastic piece of music. Originally by Piero Umiliani. He's an Italian composer, and it was not particularly well known in the UK. It did sort of come over to the UK and the US, but until it hit the Muppets, it wasn't massive. And then it hit the Muppets and boom, it became incredibly well known. Originally performed by, and I haven't seen this version, I don't think, performed by a Muppet called Bip Bippadotta, which was a reference to a stand-up comedian at the time. It then started being performed by the Muppet who became known as Mahna Mahna, and the Snoths. And I remember loving it, and I think I saw this early on in seeing any kind of Muppet show, or puppetry, really. And I remember Statler and Waldorf at the end of it, and it sticks in my head, and I don't remember the exact words. And one of them says, "My question is, what is a mana?" And the other one turns around and says, "Well, my question is, who cares?" in typical Statler and Waldorf style. But what a great song. I apologise for the fact you're going to be singing this for the next month, because that's what always happens to me. You cannot get it out of your head once it's in there, but it's fantastic, and I really want to see what these guys do with it. So, here is Mahna Mahna. Poor Omar.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Ooh, nice harmony. I like that.
Mahna Mahna.
Yes. Woo!
Mahna Mahna.
Yes, Omar.
Mahna 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 map 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 Mahna Mahna map map.
Yes.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Woohoo!
Mahna Mahna na na na. Mahna Mahna.
Wow! Okay, that's different. Well played! That is so good. Omar just going off on one is fantastic. Because that's the great thing about the Mahna Mahna character, right? Is it's just, it keeps coming back. The Snoths, I think, keep thinking it's more or less done, and then he comes... Doesn't he... Am I right in saying he ends up telephoning them with the last one? I remember that. Kermit picks the phone up and they go, "Oh, it's for you." And they both listen and you just get Mahna Mahna at the end. It's fantastic. I'd forgotten that until just now. But the amount... I need to go and watch the original after this, but what they've done with this is brilliant. Giving Omar license to do whatever he wanted was perfect. Oh, wow, that's good. All right. Great stuff, and pretty much par for the course. Like, I haven't seen the original in forever. I'd actually forgotten that the intro even existed. But I'm pretty sure that's pretty more or less exactly how it sounds on the recording. But that's fantastic. And then you get the sort of sound coming in here, leading in. And I love that Omar plays it as confusion and then hits the, "Oh, if you can't beat them, join them." And of course, by the end, he's off. That's great. Lane 2. He's gonna go. He's gonna go. Wait. He's gonna go.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
I love how he's giving each one character. There's a famous... I think I've told this story before, but there's the famous story of... was it when Hugh Jackman was doing Oklahoma, and he was very famously told, every single time you sing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" at the beginning, you need a different reason as to why you're singing it. I think it was, or was it just Oklahoma itself? Anytime he said something, anyway, it was a repeated thing in the musical, and he had to come up with a different reason why. And that's the big thing, right? In life, we occasionally repeat something twice for emphasis. Very rarely do you repeat something 5 or 6 times. And so giving character to it, the way Omar is doing here, elevates the song so much. That's great.
Mahna Mahna.
That harmony is marvellous. I don't remember that from the original. I don't think... Maybe there's some, I can't remember. But lovely to have that. And then I love this gag that they all disappear behind the chair and then come back again.
Mahna Mahna.
And now he's into it. Now he's kind of vibing with it a little.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Love that so much. Because we all know what it does. One, he's just done it. But two, we all know it's just the same thing again and again and again. And that it's just... it takes this... I'm going to be honest, for me, this elevates the song above the original. Because we all know what to expect. And the fact that he's able to do something fun with it is fantastic.
Mahna 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 Mahna.
Woo! And what half of what he's done there is what's in the original. I don't know what the actual words are that are sung. That's fine. But the way he riffs on that and embellishes it is fantastic. Really makes it his own. Of course, VP fantastic at making anything their own. But this is the way they're doing it in this one is. This is superlative for me. I love also that Caesar rescued the book and is now reading it. Was it? Oh, Dragon's Dawn, Anne McCaffrey. Yep, that's fair enough. Good book.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Oh, I love that so much. Do 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 do. Oh, do. That little bit in there, just changing up the sound a little bit, giving us a different vocal quality, and a little bit of slide, a little bit of a crescendo into that slide. Really nice.
Mahna Mahna.
And Lane embodying Mahna Mahna himself at the end. That's great.
Mahna Mahna.
I also, it's an impressive song when there's a lot going on in it too, and I can get through 2 entire renditions of something without commenting on Jeff's line. But I love what he's doing here. There's dum 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 dum, and right at the end, dum dum dum. Right at the end, he goes up. Otherwise, it's just a standard umpa bass. Really nice little touch there to change how he finishes off the verse.
Mahna Mahna.
I love how excited Caesar is when he comes back. He's like, yeah, we're going again!
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Oh, his line in this is just so good. Like, my reaction would be Lane's right now. I'd be like, I'm singing, but I'm watching you, mate. And the second book. What's the deal with the second book? I've no idea, but I love it. Oh, that is really good. That is really good. I'm going to go through... I may not post anything up, but I am going to go through it one more time just in case there's something I missed. Not going to lie, I also want to listen to it again. I was watching Lane because his eyes are kind of drawing attention, but how much they're all like, come on, dude, let's go. This is great.
Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna. Mahna Mahna.
Caesar is so sassy. The expressions he's got going on in the background of this are great. Oh, this one's getting me. I didn't think this was going to be the one that I like the most, but I think so far it might be. That might be blasphemy. I'm sorry if it is, but oh, this is brilliant. I also I feel like there's a little bit of a, because there is a calypso vibe to the original. That Mahna Mahna, for me, that line specifically gave me a little bit more of that. I don't know, maybe this is just me projecting music that I've heard that a couple of times, but it just kind of, that specific line that he sang right there, just kind of gave me a little bit more of that vibe than the original does. His voice is so clean up there too. Like, it's effortless the way he's sailing around there. It's wonderful.
Mahna Mahna.
Wonderful stuff. That is incredible. I'm really, really impressed with that. Well played, guys. That has me... I mean, this song's difficult not to like, right? In my defense of wanting to hear it again, this just makes me happy, and I think probably does so for a lot of other folks as well. Like, it rocketed to popularity after it was heard on The Muppet Show. Very, very well done. This is an epitome to me of VoicePlay taking something wholly respecting the original and yet completely taking it off in their own direction at the same time, and I love it. What's next? Okay, we come on to one I know nothing about, and that's World's Smallest Violin, originally by AJR. And all I know about AJR, and I cannot remember, I think one of their names is Ryan, is that AJ and R are the initials of the three brothers, I think, that form the group. That's it. I have absolutely no idea what I'm walking into here, but this is one that a couple of times I was told by folks, when you get around to doing shorts, this is a really good one. So I've no idea what to expect. The freeze frame that I got at the very beginning of it all would imply this is a Pandemic song, I think. I just realised I could look up dates, can't I? November 11th, 2022. Very likely. It certainly seems to be one of the, they do their videos that are a bit more distanced, where they're all cut up into 5 screens rather than 1. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect here. I know nothing about this song. I didn't research it. So we'll just see what's coming. This is AJR's World's Smallest Violin.
My grandpa fought in World War II. He was such a noble dude. I can't even
Ooh, this is
finish
catchy.
school. Miss my mom and left too soon. His dad was a fireman who fought fire so violent. I think I bored my therapist while playing in my violin. Oh my God, that's so insane.
Oh, this is fun.
That's such a shame.
Caesar on a massage chair.
But I can't help myself from feeling bad.
I kind of feel like two things can be said. The world's smallest violin
What was that?
really needs an audience.
Oh, this is catchy.
If I do not find somebody soon, I'll blow up into smithereens and spew my tiny symphony. Just let me play my violin for you. My grandpa.
Whoa, that's incredibly catchy, actually. I really like that. I'm going to have to look the original song up. That is a lot. I'm so sorry, Jane, and I apologise. There we go. No, I got lane. I can't win. Freeze framing videos is hard, people. That just made me really happy. Like, it's got that, it's very, very much that kind of bouncy vibe that it's got going on. I've no idea if this is what the original song sounds like, but I love the energy in it. It's one of those songs, it's got a Mahna Mahna quality in the sense that the energy in it is just really uplifting. That's great. I like that a lot. Yeah, let's listen to this again, because this one I had no idea what to expect, so it's going to be harder for me to sort of say too much before listening again.
In World War II, he was such a noble dude. I can't even finish school. Miss my mom and left too soon.
Firstly, Caesar, I love the hair. That looks fantastic. I also love how he's such a great person to start something because of the amount of expression he has in his face. Like, Caesar's face is wonderfully expressive, but the way that he's using it in this it's got a little bit of comedy, but it's also got some heart to it as well, and I really like that.
His dad was a fireman who fought fire so violent. I think I bored my therapist while playing in my violin.
So I'm guessing from this is a song about feeling inadequate. That's my guess. I'm not sure. But it's so upbeat. I love that kind of counterpoint. It's a good way of conveying a message sometimes, is to put something serious into something comedic or vice versa. And this is really, really catchy. The way they blended the harmony between the 5 of them is fantastic.
Oh my God, that's so insane. Oh my God, that's such a shame. Next to them, I don't feel so grand.
I love that too, where you have the oh my God with everybody and then just Ellie over the top. Such a shame, whatever the notes are. That's really, really nice. I think they're playing well with all the voices that they have here. I mean, obviously you have the bass and the percussion. That's always going to stand out. But the fact that we're probably, halfway through this thing, and all three of the other vocalists have had a moment. Even if it's a small one, it just gives them a second to stand out. This is really, really nicely arranged.
But I can't help myself from feeling bad.
I kind of feel like two things can be said. The world's so
What is that? Woo! That's cute. It's an amazing amount of kind of that what Lane managed to get into that sort of wide sound. That's impressive. With seemingly very little effort. It always amazes me what he can do with his voice. What they all can do with their voices, frankly. But again, I love Jeff has a second there as well. And everybody gets a moment. That's really nice.
this violin really needs an audience. So if I do not find somebody soon,
Oh, I love that harmony on soon. That's a really nice chord they've struck there. That's again, I have no idea how much of this is faithful to the original. This one is a complete blind for me, but that's really cool.
blow up into smithereens. This fueled by tiny symphony. Just let me play my violin for you.
That. Oh, I see how they did that now. I was puzzling that because I saw at the end of it laying clap, and then I realized he's holding a selfie stick or a phone or something, and I realized he's hitting somebody else's hand. That's funny. Nicely done. This one's going to take. I'm going to do one more full pass of this for sure, just because there's a lot to take in here, and not knowing the song, it's harder to pick up on stuff. But I really like what they did with this. It's a really full arrangement. Like the sound is fantastic.
My grandpa fought in World War II. He was such a noble dude.
Even here, just with this do. It's such a simple thing, but it's all that's needed. And because they're hitting it all together, you've kind of got this very clear supporting chord that goes with the melody. This is lovely.
I can't even finish school. Miss my mom and left too soon. His dad was a fireman.
And then that lovely ha, and then back down to the do again. Really, really nice again. I've talked about it a couple of times this video already, just because they've done it in a couple of the shorts, but the opening from the ooh, suddenly coming back in with the ha, it's a nice wide sound with that sort of aspirate onset of the that gives it a little bit of somewhere to go, and then they come right back down again to the tight sound. This is great.
Who fought fire so violent? I think I bored my
I also love just the little dum 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 from Jeff, like those little passing notes that we get there that just kind of lead you somewhere. Really, really nice.
Can't help myself from feeling bad.
I kind of feel like two things can be said.
Oh, the harmony, both on Bad and that we're now listening to. Those slightly crunchy notes that are in there that are giving it this kind of tight, it feels very robust, but it's not quite clean harmony. That's not clean's the wrong word, but there's just a little bit of crunch in there, and it's really, really nice.
The world's smallest violin really needs an audience. So if I do not
I really like that violin really needs it. And if I do, like up to the point where they join in, having, again, those delayed lyrics, it's such an effective harmonic technique. They've used that, again, something I've mentioned in this video. Not directly in those terms, but they do this really, really well, and I think the way that they've done it for this is fantastic. It's also great for a short because it gives a lot of harmonic interest in a very short space of time, but it's not using any new material, so you can still focus on what's going on. That's really smart.
is fueled by tiny symphony, just let me play my violin for you.
Yet again, the blend of Caesar, Janan, and Ellie is spectacular. Really, really is. This is wonderful. I really, really like that. They did a great job with this. It's a surprisingly bouncy song for something that sounds, to someone who knows no context for it whatsoever, like there's a fairly serious, or at least has the potential to be a quite serious topic behind it, even though, like Caesar's goofing around, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I love the way that they've counterpointed that and the way that the song counterpoints that. I'll be interested to go and listen to the original of that and see, how much that tone is there versus how much they've sort of upticked it for what they do. But yeah, great stuff. Really good. One more, I think. What's next? Right, I tell a lie. There's going to be two more because there's two I really wanted to do. And one of them is the Doctor Who theme with Jose Rosario Jr., who I don't think I've seen since Hoist the Colours, have I? Was he in Just Sing? I forget. But certainly not in a single guest spot capacity. The Doctor Who theme is magnificent. It was originally written, I guess, in the 60s by an Australian called Ron Grainer, and it was very early electronic music to the point where it actually unsettled a lot of people who weren't used to hearing it. I know there was one member of my family who was younger when it came out, and she used to hide behind the sofa because the music itself was the bit that creeped her out, not the show. But the music. And it was very avant-garde, very, ahead of its time in a wonderful way, to the point where it is still so successful today as a theme tune. They just, 2 or 3 months ago, I think, released what the new one is going to, the new version of it is going to sound like for the next season. And the fact that it is still the same piece of music that is continuing to be so popular to this day talks about the staying power of this thing. But anyway, this is a rather marvelous opening screen. With the police box. And I'm very curious to see what's what. If you've never seen Doctor Who before, I don't know how to even begin to explain it. There's a couple of good starting point videos on YouTube, I think. But this is a magnificent piece, and I'm really interested to see how they do this. So, here we go. Oh, cool.
It's bigger on the inside.
Oh, that's cute. That's very short, but really cute. Jose Rosario Jr.'s voice is amazing. I mean, I know that from Hoist the Colours, but it's great quality for this. I also love that you've kind of got some, the choice of sounds that are coming out here. You've got that. I remembered how to do it, and I've forgotten again. Sort of sound. I've absolutely forgotten how to do it. I can't remember what the other video was it came up in recently, and I thought about it, and I was like, I used to know how to do this, and then I figured out how to do it, and it's gone again. But great choice of vocal sounds going on here. I love the way that they've balanced it against that, and of course the It's Bigger on the Inside. For those who don't get that joke, the police box that is used in the film is a TARDIS. The whole deal with it is it looks like a police box on the outside. You won't have seen a police box in real life, most likely. They don't really exist anymore, but they used to be blue telephone boxes like this that existed around England. And they are the size of a telephone box, but you went into this thing and it was enormous on the inside. That was the whole gag of that. But this is a phenomenal realization of a very electronic piece of music with, as far as I can tell, no post-processing on the voices. It's just their voices, and that's amazing. I love that we get that ba-da, and there's these fills from Lane into the bum-ba-da-bum, 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 bum-ba-da-bum. It's so iconic. Even actually, one thing also spectacularly iconic is, of course, the scarf that Jose Rosario is wearing. Again, for those who don't know, I just can't touch on this without going into a million details, but there have been multiple Doctors. Every couple of seasons, the Doctor regenerates and comes back as a different actor. It's one of the reasons they've been able to keep it going so long successfully, is because there is a rationale as to why the character is being taken over by someone else. And this is a very iconic costume element from one of the Doctors back a few decades. I love that they've used that as a representation. It's so simple. There's so little. The hat as well. The hat that Caesar's wearing right now. Again, iconic. Two simple things that are costume pieces that are worn, and the other one is the prop, the sonic screwdriver that Ellie is holding, or at least the facsimile. Really, really effective for conjuring up a vibe for those who know the series, and points of curiosity for those who don't, I guess. But lovely stuff. They're keeping it quite sparse because you've got the bass and the drums going, but this da-ba-da, 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 one beat on, one beat off, on, off, on, off. It's an interesting blend, and it leaves a lot of negative space in this, and yet it still feels surprisingly complete. They've done a really interesting job with this arrangement. It's not what I would have expected, but I like it.
It's bigger on the inside.
I love this operatic sort of operatic quality of voice that's come out. I used to sing opera 25 years ago when I was a kid. I don't anymore, as you can probably tell. But it's a lovely tone of voice to suddenly come out with, and it fills out a rich sound that would be there if this was being played by an entire orchestra, which is what it is. At least contemporarily it is. I don't know exactly how big the group was, or how many instruments were in the original recording, but very effective stuff on this. I really, really like what they've done. And it's a nice choice just to leave it on the woo. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it's kind of fits. There's a whole other section of this theme that goes off in a totally different direction, and it would have been tempting, I think, probably to include some of that as well, because it's also a great piece of music, or a great piece of this piece of music, but I think it's smart to keep it as constrained as they did. That's great fun. I really, really like that. A little simpler than some of them, and I don't think that's a problem. I think they've got everything they need in their presentation, and the fact that they're not doing a lot of crazy stuff is fine, because the music speaks for itself in this case. Yeah, really, really like that. Okay, I'm actually going to cut myself off there. I had originally planned to do one extra video, but unfortunately I have run out of recording time on the day that I'm recording this. I have to go to work shortly, to my second job. So I'm going to leave it there, but let me know what you think about this. Did you enjoy me going through a bunch of shorts this way? And if so, I'll do another one of these at some point, because there's a lot of other shorts I want to check out for sure. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I managed to bring something to you that you hadn't seen before in these, or even the shorts themselves, or heck, VoicePlay if you've never seen them before. Do check out their long videos as well. They're utterly fantastic. Everything I've just done is linked below in the description, at least to the YouTube version, which will get cut off a little bit. As I say, I was copying from, I was recording from Instagram. But yeah, they're absolutely fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you got a lot out of this video. Please do like it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to decide how much you hear from YouTube about my work. Would love you to be subscribed to my community. I would really, really appreciate that. And if you would like to support it even further, you can do so at either buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can support with a one-off donation, patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can support on an ongoing basis just for $2 Canadian, and also gain access to my Discord. And if you care to, you could also leave a super thanks here on YouTube, which is a sort of highlighted comment, and I will definitely get back to you on that. Either which way, if you would like to, that would be great, and if not, that's fine too. Thanks again for watching. I really, really appreciate you spending some time with me. And I will have another video coming up in a week. Take care of yourselves. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, 10:30 in the evening. Let's try that one. See if I can catch someone who's watching right then. And yeah, I will take care for now, and I will see you in the next video.